The rain hammered against the floor-to-ceiling windows of the high-rise spa like 1,000 unspoken regrets. Each drop echoing the frantic beat of my heart as I stripped down in the dim changing room. I'd come here to escape the suffocating grip of my breakup, 3 years down the drain because Mark couldn't handle the quiet truth of who I was. But instead, as I lay face down on the warm table, old hands found not just my knots, but the fragile edges of my soul. And then, in a whisper that cut through the storm, he said my name like a prayer, confessing a secret that bound us tighter than any touch ever could. I remember the scent first, lavender and eucalyptus mingling with a faint metallic tang of city rain seeping through the vents. The spa was tucked away in a sleek midtown Manhattan tower, the kind of place where Wall Street execs and Broadway hopefuls alike came to unravel. I wasn't either. I was just Jamie Harlan, 32, a freelance graphic designer scraping by in a Brooklyn walk-up, my days blurring into nights of takeout and half-finished sketches. The breakup with Mark had hit like a freight train 6 weeks ago. He'd found the dog-eared copy of Giovanni's Room on my nightstand and flipped, accused me of hiding, of not being man enough to admit what simmered beneath our routine fucks and forced smiles. I hadn't hidden, I'd just been too scared to shout it from the rooftops. Gay in a world that still whispered faggot behind closed doors, even in 2025 New York. So I booked this massage on a whim, a Groupon deal expiring that night, desperate for hands that wouldn't judge. The door clicked open softly, and cool air brushed my exposed back. Jamie, I'm Alex. Ready to melt away the week. His voice was smooth, like aged whiskey over ice, low and reassuring, with a faint southern lilt that didn't match the bustling anonymity of the city. I mumbled a yes into the face cradle, my cheeks burning as I realized how vulnerable I felt, bare except for the thin sheet draped over my hips. Footsteps padded closer, socks on hardwood, and then his hands, warm, strong, calloused in that way that spoke of real work, not just gym reps pressed into my shoulders. A sigh escaped me unbidden, the kind you don't plan. He started slow, thumbs circling the base of my neck where tension coiled like a spring. Breathe with me, he murmured, and I did, inhaling the steam from the humidifier, exhaling the weight of Mark's last words. You're broken. Jamie. Fix yourself. Alex's touch was methodical, professional, but there was a rhythm to it, a subtle dance that made my skin hum. We didn't talk much at first. The rain filled the silence, a relentless percussion that mirrored the pulse in my temples. I closed my eyes, letting the pressure build and release, his palms gliding down my spine in long, firm strokes that bordered on intimate. Too intimate? No, I told myself. It's just a job. But when his fingers splayed across my lower back, just above the sheet, a shiver ran through me, not from cold, but from electric awareness of another man's care. You carry a lot up here, he said after 10 minutes. His voice closer now, breath ghosting my ear as he leaned in to work a stubborn knot. Like you're holding the world on these shoulders. What's got you so locked up? It wasn't prying, it was gentle, an invitation wrapped in concern. I hesitated, the words sticking like tar. Therapists weren't shrinks, but damn if his tone didn't coax it out. Bad breakup, I admitted, voice muffled. Guy I thought was the one. Turned out he couldn't deal with. Well, me. The sheet rustled as I shifted slightly, and his hands paused, a feather-light hover that sent my heart skittering. I'm sorry. That shit cuts deep. There was a pause. The sound of oil squirting into his palm. Was it the usual? The labels? The fear? How'd he know? I nodded into the cradle, surprised at the tears pricking my eyes. His thumbs dug in again. Deeper this time. Unraveling threads I didn't know were there. You're not alone in that storm. Jamie. I've been there. Hell. I live it every day. We fell into a rhythm, then. His hands mapping my body like a cartographer charting unclaimed land. He worked my arms next, lifting each one with care, fingers tracing the veins on my forearms as if reading a story in Braille. I felt seen, not just touched, and it terrified me. Alex was maybe 28, I guessed from the fresh energy in his movements. His blonde hair tied back in a loose ponytail that brushed my skin when he leaned close. His scrubs whispered against the table edge, the fabric soft but fitted, hinting at the lean muscle beneath, years of this work sculpting him without the vanity of a gym bro. No ring on his finger, no cologne overpowering the oils, just him, raw and present. As he moved to my legs, folding the sheet up just enough to expose my calves, the conversation trickled deeper. Tell me about him, Alex prompted, kneading the knots from my hamstrings with expert pressure. What made you think he was it? I laughed, bitter and short. The little things. Coffee runs at dawn, quoting bad poetry over pizza. But then, he saw me glance at a guy in the bar, and it all crumbled. Called me confused, said I was chasing shadows. My voice cracked, and I hated it. The vulnerability spilling out like ink on wet paper. Alex's hands stilled for a beat, then resumed, firmer now, as if grounding me. Shadows? Nah, that's his fear talking, not yours. You're chasing light. Jamie. Real light. The words landed soft but sure. A balm on raw skin. I turned my head slightly, catching a glimpse of him in the mirror across the room, blue eyes focused, lips parted in concentration, a faint scar above his brow from some untold story. He was beautiful, in that unassuming way that sneaks up on you, like dawn breaking over the East River. The session stretched, time blurring as rain lashed the glass. He flipped me over midway, the sheet readjusting with professional grace, and worked my chest, avoiding the obvious but lingering on the pectorals where grief had tightened everything. Our eyes met then, mine wary, his steady, and something shifted. A spark, unspoken, hanging in the humid air. You deserve someone who sees you, he said quietly, thumbs pressing into my collarbone. All of you. No shadows. I swallowed hard. Throat dry despite the steam. Easier said than done in this city. Everyone's running from something. Not everyone. His gaze held mine, unflinching, and for a moment, the world narrowed to the space between us, just his hands on my skin. The rain's symphony, and the unspoken pull tugging at my chest. He broke it first, moving to my scalp, fingers threading through my hair with a tenderness that made my breath hitch. Close your eyes. Let it go. I did, sinking into the sensation, the way his touch coaxed out buried aches. We talked in fragments after that, his move from Atlanta 2 years back, chasing dreams of healing bodies when his own heart was fractured, my sketches of hidden lovers in crowded subways, stories no one commissioned. Laughter bubbled up, unexpected, when he admitted to botching his first massage on a celebrity client, leaving them giggling instead of groaning. The hour mark came and went. He didn't rush, didn't glance at the clock. It felt like sanctuary. This room with its diffused lights and potted ferns. A bubble against the chaos below. As he finished, draping a heated towel over me, his voice dropped lower. Jamie, there's something I need to say. Before you go, my eyes snapped open, pulse thundering. He knelt beside the table, face level with mine, those blue depths stormy with intent. The rain paused, as if the sky held its breath too. I propped up on my elbows, cheek clutched like a shield. What is it? He exhaled, running a hand through his loosened hair, vulnerability etching lines around his mouth. This isn't protocol. Hell, it's not even smart. But from the second you walked in, your eyes, carrying that weight like it was yours alone, I saw myself. The kid in Georgia, hiding crushes behind football pads, terrified of what loving a boy meant. You're not broken, Jamie. You're brave. And God, I think I'm falling for you. Right here, right now, the words hung. Impossible. A thunderclap in the quiet. My mind reeled his confession, raw and reckless, shattering the professional veil. I stared, heart slamming against ribs, the unexpected bloom of hope warring with the scars Mark left. Alex, you can't just. I know. He stood, backing a step, hands raised in surrender. Forget I said it. Just. Don't let him dim you. You deserve a light. But his eyes pleaded, a silent stay, and in that charged silence, the rain resumed, softer now, like applause for truths finally spoken. I dressed in a daze, fingers fumbling buttons, his words echoing louder than the storm. The spa hallway blurred as I emerged, but I paused at the door, turning back. He was there, leaning against the frame, scrubs rumpled, expression a mix of regret and defiance. Jamie, he called, voice steady. Coffee? Tomorrow? No hands. Just. Us. I nodded, a smile cracking through the shock. Yeah. Us. The elevator descended, city lights smearing like watercolor. And for the first time in months, the weight lifted, not gone, but shared. Little did I know, that unexpected bridge would lead us through fires neither could have imagined, forging something unbreakable in the heart of the storm. Descending into the lobby, the doorman nodded as I stepped into the downpour, umbrella forgotten in my haste. The streets of Midtown pulsed with life, taxis honking, umbrellas bobbing like black tulips, the neon glow of delis cutting through the wet night. I hailed a cab, sliding into the back seat with a shiver, not from cold, but from the aftershocks of Alex's words. Falling for you. Right here. It played on loop, absurd and exhilarating, a plot twist in a life scripted by caution. Mark had been safe. Predictable, dinners at the same Italian joint. Sex like clockwork on Saturdays. But Alex? He was wildfire, igniting doubts I'd buried deep. The driver glanced in the rear view. Brooklyn, right? Tough night out there. I murmured agreement, watching rain streak the windows, blurring the Empire State's spire into a hazy beacon. My phone buzzed, a text from my best friend. Lena, how was the rubdown? Less tense now? I typed back. You have no idea. Understatement of the year. Back in my apartment, the familiar creak of the floorboards greeted me like an old foe. Posters of indie bands peeled at the edges. My drafting table littered with half-hearted logos for clients who paid late. I stripped off wet clothes. The mirror reflecting a man I barely recognized. Flushed cheeks. Eyes bright with something dangerously close to possibility. Collapsing onto the bed, I replayed the session, his hands, sure and kind, the scar on his brow, a question mark begging to be read. Falling for you. What if I was falling too? Sleep came fitful. Dreams tangled with oil-slicked skin and whispered confessions. Dawn broke gray, the city groaning awake as I showered, scrubbing away the night's residue, but not the imprint of his touch. Coffee at 10 a.m. He'd said, no address. But I knew the spot, a hole in the wall on 8th Avenue. The kind with mismatched mugs and baristas who remembered your order. I arrived early, nerve jangling like loose change, ordering a black drip and claiming a corner table by the window. Pedestrians hurried past, collars up against the drizzle, their stories hidden behind hurried strides. What was mine now? A 1-hour massage turned crossroads? The bell tinkled at 10:05, and there he was, jeans hugging his legs. A faded gray hoodie zipped halfway, revealing a plain white tee beneath. No scrubs, no professional armor, just Alex. Hair tousled from the wind, carrying a paper bag that smelled of fresh croissants. His smile lit the dim cafe, crinkling the corners of his eyes. Hey, you made it. Wouldn't miss it. We sat, knees brushing under the table, the contact sending sparks up my thigh. He unpacked the bag, almond croissants, flaky and golden, pushing one toward me with a grin. Peace offering. For overstepping last night, I bit into the pastry, butter flaking onto my plate. Overstepping? That was bold, but not unwelcome. Honesty felt foreign, like speaking a language I'd forgotten. We talked easy at first, his shift starting at noon, my deadline for a logo redesign looming. But the undercurrent pulled stronger, questions bubbling up like steam from our mugs. So, Georgia, I ventured, tracing the rim of my cup. What chased you north? He leaned back, gaze drifting to the rain-smeared window. Family. Mostly. Dad's a preacher, old school, fire and brimstone. Mom tried to bridge it, but when I came out at 19, let's just say sermons got personal. His laugh was hollow, fingers drumming the table. Kicked out, couch surfed my way through massage school. Landed here thinking the city would swallow the pain. It does. Mostly. But nights like last night, they remind you it's still there. Waiting, empathy twisted in my gut. I knew that script too well. My folks are gone. Car wreck when I was 15. Bounced between aunts who meant well, but whispered about fixing me. Mark was my first real shot at normal. Guess normal's overrated. Alex's hand covered mine then. Brief, but deliberate. Thumb brushing my knuckle. Normal's a cage. You're out now. With me, the question hung, laced with hope, and I didn't pull away. Heat bloomed where we touched, a promise in the press of skin. We lingered till his phone buzzed, a client reminder. Standing, he zipped his hoodie, reluctance etching his features. Dinner? Tonight? My place, nothing fancy. Just pasta and bad movies. I nodded, pulse racing. Text me the address. He did. Outside under the awning. Our goodbye a hug that lasted 3 beats too long, chest pressed, his chin on my shoulder. The scent of him, soap and faint citrus, imprinting on my senses. Walking to the subway, Brooklyn-bound, I felt lighter, like the rain had washed away more than grime. The day blurred, emails pinged. Sketches flowed freer than in weeks. By evening, nerves gnawed as I rode the F train uptown, clutching a bottle of cheap Chianti like a talisman. His building was a pre-war walk-up in Hell's Kitchen, buzzer sticky from years of use. Third floor, left, his voice crackled, and I climbed, heart echoing each step. He opened the door barefoot, in worn jeans and a threadbare tee that clung to his torso. Oven mitts on his hands like comedy props. Sauce is bubbling. Come save me from domestic disaster. The apartment was small, lived in, bookshelves sagging with anatomy texts and dog-eared novels. A yoga mat rolled in the corner, plants thriving on every sill. It smelled of garlic and basil. Home, in a way my sterile space never had. We cooked together, elbows bumping at the stove, laughter spilling as he oversalted the pasta and I rescued it with a splash of wine. Over plates, at his rickety table, candles flickering against the dusk. Stories poured out. His first crush, a teammate on the high school line. Stolen glances in the locker room. My hidden sketches of men in love. Hidden even from myself. Vulnerability wove us closer. Forks clinking like toast to survival. After, on his sagging couch, a rom-com droned, some 90s flick with improbable kisses, but our attention wandered. His head on my shoulder, my arm around his waist, the weight of him solid and real. Jamie, he whispered during a quiet scene, fingers tracing my jaw. Last night was an impulse. I've dreamed of this, someone who gets the quiet wars we fight. I turned, lips brushing his temple. Me too. Scared shitless. But here, our mouths met then, tentative at first, then hungry, tongues exploring, hands roaming with the memory of oil and trust. It wasn't rushed, it was revelation, body speaking what words fumbled. We tumbled to his bed, sheets cool against fevered skin, learning each other in sighs and gasps. The rain a soft lullaby outside. Dawn found us tangled, his breath warm on my neck. But his coffee brewed, his phone rang insistent, shattering the haze. He answered in the kitchen, voice dropping low. Mom? Yeah, I'm managing. I caught fragments, her frail tone, a hospital mention, the weight of miles between. When he hung up, eyes shadowed, he sank beside me. Cancer. Stage 3. Wants me home. The words landed like stones in still water. Alex, I can't not go. Believing you? After this, conflict raged in his blue depths, mirroring my own rising panic. Our night had been a bridge, now cracks spiderwebbed across it. We dressed in silence, the city waking indifferent below. At the door, he pulled me close. 2 weeks. I'll call every day. This us, it's not ending here. I nodded, throat tight. Promise. Our kiss was fierce, a vow against the unknown. He left for the airport that afternoon. I wandered the streets, his absence a hollow ache. Days blurred into calls, his voice crackling from Georgia payphones. Updates on chemo, intense dinners with a father whose sermons now rang hollow. He's trying, Alex said one night, exhaustion lacing his words. Asked about you. Even, mine were steady, sketches sold. Lena grilling me over beers. This guy's got you glowing. Harlan. Don't fuck it up. But doubt crept in distance sharpening edges. Mark's ghost texting apologies I deleted unread. What if Alex's family pulled him back in a closet? What if I was just a city fling? A rebellion against roots? A week in, the call came jagged. Dad found out. About me. About us. Alex's voice broke. Sobs muffled. Screamed scripture at me. Called it abomination. Mom's defending. But, Jamie, I'm drowning here. Flight home, I said. Booking at mid-call. Heart pounding. The red eye landed at dawn. I rented a car. Navigating humid back roads to the outskirts of Atlanta. Billboards preaching salvation amid strip malls. His childhood home was a ranch-style relic. Azaleas blooming defiant in the yard. He met me on the porch, hollow-cheeked, flinging himself into my arms. You came, always, inside. Tension crackled, his mother's wan smile. A hug that lingered, his father's glare from the recliner. Bible open like a shield. Dinner was a minefield, small talk detonating into accusations. This lifestyle, the preacher spat. Fork clattering. It'll destroy you. Son. Repent. Before it's too late. Alex's hand found mine under the table. Grip iron. Dad, it's not a lifestyle. It's me. Loving Jamie? That's the truest thing I've ever done. Silence fell, heavy as humidity. His mother teared up, whispering, He's right. Robert. Let him be. The elder Harlan's face crumpled, not rage, but grief. The slow thaw of a man confronting his own failures. I prayed for strength. Maybe it's time I used it for love. Tears flowed then, messy and real, bridges mending in the steam of peach cobbler. We stayed 2 days, conversations stretching into nights, forgiveness not instant, but seated. Alex's mother pulled me aside. Thank you for seeing my boy's light. Driving back to the airport, windows down, wind whipping our hair. He turned to me. I was scared we'd break. But you my anchor. New York welcomed us with open arms. Rain clear to sun. The skyline a promise. Back in his apartment, we rebuilt. Layer by layer, shared shifts at the spa. My designs adorning his walls. Lazy Sundays tracing scars, his from prejudice. Mine from loss. Mark texted once more. I blocked him, choosing light. Months later, under those same rainy windows, he knelt with a ring, simple silver, engraved with no shadows. Marry me, Jamie. Let's chase this forever. Yes, I breathed, pulling him up into a kiss that tasted of home. In a city of millions, we'd found our one, proof that unexpected words could rewrite fates, turning strangers into soulmates, storms into sunrises. The wedding was small, rooftop in summer haze, Lena officiating with jokes, his mother beaming beside a quiet, changed father. Vows exchanged as the sun dipped, our hands clasped, rings glinting like stars. That night, in our new place, Brooklyn Brownstone, sketches and anatomy book side by side, we made love slow. Bodies a map of journeys converged. Life unfolded not perfect, but full, his practice thriving. My art gallery show selling out. Holidays split between Georgia reconciliations and Manhattan chaos. Challenges came, protests downtown. Whispers at family gatherings, but we faced them hand in hand. His touch my constant, my voice his echo. One evening, years on, as rain pattered familiar patterns, He massaged my shoulders on our couch, thumbs working old knots. Still can't believe I said it that first night, he murmured, lips on my neck. I turned, smiling. Best unexpected thing ever. You heal me, Alex. Every day, and in that quiet, with the city humming below, we knew love wasn't absence of storm, but dancing through it together.